tattoos. Talking when I love squad members, I can't act cool. Hey, young, this your beat? Nothing lasts forever, I don't got tattoos. I lost squad members, I can't act cool. I like my bitches short and thick and ain't gotta act rude. She won't treat me like I'm the rest, cause I ain't that dude. I seen some things as a child that changed my thoughts forever. Try to do right, I'm on the ass and I won't fucking let up. Hit from the side, bitch, don't be lazy, lift your fucking leg up. To all my niggas going through a struggle, keep your fucking head up. Anything you going through, I'm a witness, it won't last forever. Just stay down and hold your side, don't change us like the weather. If he around me, then he got a ruler, but he ain't trying to measure. I got it in here, me some weed to get my thoughts together. Hard in the summer, but my heart cold, so I got a rock sweater. We came in this roll alone, so we ain't gon' leave out together. I know I'm blessed, I know my worth, so I can never settle. You can't show yourself before you, only time can tell you. Don't care, you one time to fuck up, then you can't go here. Whoa, dear, I got too many steps and bring a pole here. No deal, I won't set my soul ain't high and go here. I won't school, I stay loyal to my niggas and my bitch, stick to the cold here. Just a new 40 on my hood, the bitch to blow him. Just a different dope inside the blunt, we getting lows in. Smoking on some dope from cause the country got a choke in. Put the bitch like a receiver, put the bitch in motion. I'm drinking on some shit that change a mood, we call it potion. Can't even hide the 30 in the clip, it be poking. And up off them beam, we got some smoke and get it going. White girl playing with her, no Lindsay Lohan. My little cousin slipped up and lost a baby, she was 16. Ain't doing shit for free, I want 200 for a 16. Glock with a dick and 30 clip with a red beam. She make it hard for me cause all that nigga sold a big dream. Don't lose on thug behind no shit you saying that you ain't me. All my niggas slide, you know what's up, bitch, you can't play me. I see the picture clear, my life a movie like it's HD. I'm with 50K screens and I ain't got no post on say cheese. Like a little whipping when I up it, better say cheese. This life taught me some lessons for the school, I own a degree. I'm just trying to take care of my people, how you hate me. One of them got caught with that elite, the shit was crazy. Bitch, the trap baby shit don't do that.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? I want to thank you all for joining episode 28 of the Get Hook podcast. As always, week to week, it's your boy Hook. I got my girl Chris here with me. Chris, say what's up to the people.
Hello, good evening, sunshines. We are talking about my favorite subject, money.
Exactly, where the money resides, right? So we're going to be talking about finances and budgeting in 2021. I know we all have our different New Year's resolutions, and I'm sure at the very top of that list is going to be money and finances. So we have a group of people here with us who are passionate. This is a subject they're passionate about. So if you don't already have one, grab a pen, piece of paper. We're going to drop some nuggets here today, man, and we all want to win, right? We all want to eat. So I'm going to give them an opportunity to introduce themselves. So Trav, go ahead and take it away, man. Tell the people who you are.
All right. Well, my name is Travis Limehouse. I'm glad to be here. A little bit about my background. I'm from the. I worked in the telecommunication industry for about 15 years. Currently, I'm a marketing teacher at the Charlotte-Mecklenburg School Districts, where I'm a marketing teacher and teach business courses. And this summer, I got a personal finance certification. So I want to share what I'm sharing with you guys. I also share it with my students. I think it's very important that we go ahead and start our young kids off at a good foundation so they can go ahead and be successful in life. So I'm just happy to be here and I'm excited to share what I have.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for having me. My name is Teresa White. My background has always, and my passion has always been home ownership preparation, helping individuals become ready for home ownership through different ways in building their financial portfolio. Been in mortgaging for over 20 years now. Also, I do financial analyst, and I am also a consultant for different firms in regards to right now we're in the pandemic and the PPP forgiveness amounts that are available. Budgeting is my number one thing. Everyone will tell you that. So I'm glad to be a part and being able to have the opportunity to contribute to your financial growth.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tish. I am just a country girl from South Carolina. I have a degree in social work, not a big background in finance. I just like to save. So I really enjoy and I'm very passionate about teaching others how to save, how to be financially free, and just out here, making it and living and saving your money. I'm glad to be here tonight.
Tuck, you're muted.
Yeah, I caught that. Thanks. As you can see, man, you got we have an abundance of knowledge, different levels of expertise. So, and I've got my pen and paper here as well. So I'm hoping to learn a little bit myself. So, without further ado, man, we'll go ahead and get this thing started. And I'll start in Travis in something that you said. You mentioned teaching your students about finances and things like that, right?
Yes, sir.
Collectively, I want to ask each of you a question. Do you think that people are inherently good money managers, or is it something that they have to learn over time? What do you guys think about that?
I think depending on the foundation that you have, it really sets you up for life. Like if you had parents who saved and parents who did the right thing with money, it'd be easier for you because that's all you know, that's all you see. But if you grow up with a different environment, you need to be taught other stuff and you may not see it. So I think that your foundation kind of sets it for you. But we all know that things can be taught and you can change the trajectory of your life any way you want. So that's not an excuse. It's just, it is what it is.
I agree with that. And I believe that it depends on where you come from, what culture you're a part of. Certain cultures start training their children at the age of 2 and 3 about finances, about money, about saving, about the value. If your culture doesn't teach you that, then you end up having the habits of generations before. So you have to break those generations and retrain yourself. So now, hopefully, in 2021, cultures that did not teach their children at the ages of 3, we understand now why it's imperative to start that training because we don't want our children getting to our age and having to retrain and create new money habits.
Absolutely. Raising smart kids to finish rich. That's the biggie. And that's something that I tell all of you, even when I spoke to you before we did this topic, that we were all taught from a generation that learned how to survive, how to make sure you live another day. You can survive through anything. If any of us were left to be alone, we knew how to survive in this world. So we've gotten that. Our children know how to survive. Survival is not even a fear of our kids, but we don't teach them how to thrive because many of us weren't taught how to thrive. Some were, but not as many as we would like. As we talked about earlier, with $1.3 trillion of the Black community having the national gross income, so $1.3 trillion of the gross national income in the US is us. But only 2% of it is circulated back into the Black community. We're not being taught at a young enough age how to make our money work for us and how to make it work within us so that if Tish has a hair store and she makes $100,000, then she gives it to me and now I got one. And then after I make mine, then Trav got one. And then after Trav makes his, then you got one and Teresa got one. Now we run the block. But we don't teach that at that young age like we should. So I really appreciate all of you all who have had a point in my life to come in today because it's time to change the narrative on a lot of this stuff.
Absolutely. That's a great point, Crystal. And Tish, what about you? Do you think that people are inherently they're just born good with money, or is it something that they have to learn, as they experience life?
I think that it's a little bit of both. I think that, of course, you can be born into it. Even now, you know better, you do better. So I'm teaching my children now to save. It's something that they were born into. My son looked at his account, and it wasn't a lie, but he said, "Mommy, I'm rich." rich. And so he always says, I'm rich, I'm rich. And so I know that now he's speaking that into existence. He has an understanding at 9 years old that, hey, I got to have money in the account because I'm going to be rich. I think also that it's something that has to be taught. You know, you can be born into it, and sometimes even those children don't really learn the concept. So I think that it's something that you have to be passionate about on your own to strive to continue to grow, because in order to reach a certain goal, you have to work at it.
Yeah, definitely. And Teresa made a good point. She mentioned that a lot of it may be cultural. And I can definitely see that because I can only speak from my experiences, obviously. But at the age of 18, I was pretty much expected to go and be on my own. You know, I was expected to have it figured out. I really wasn't given a fair opportunity to really learn it because it wasn't taught to me in school or anything. And obviously, the people that raised me did a phenomenal job doing so. But like you said, when you know better, you do better. So I think it's up to us as a people, as parents now. We're the ones, you know, leading the new generation. Is really going to be up to us to really break that cycle. So again, thank you all for that for the commentary. So second question: do you think it's how much you make or what you do with what you make? You know, do you have to make loads and loads of money to be able to thrive, or is it what even if you're not as well off as some people, do you think it's something that you think you can thrive even if you aren't making as much as others?
I want Tish in on this one because Tish get on me all the time. I go, you don't make enough to save, but you really do, and that's a big one. So definitely, can you save at any income level?
Okay, so y'all know. Y'all already know.
Oh, go ahead, Teresa.
Tish and Crystal. You know I started y'all in your 20s. So yes, it doesn't matter what you make. It matters what you do with it. Understand that. It matters what you do with it. You need to start with the basics, right? You need to understand what a household budget means. You need to understand how money operates. If money is sitting in under your mattress because you're saving under your mattress, it's not earning interest. If it's not earning interest, it has the same value. But you can put that same savings in an account and earn some interest. That's more money that you had than you when you started. Okay? You cannot spend more than what you make. We live in what I call the instant world, instant gratification. You got instant this, you got instant that. You can go buy a body now. You can go buy all this luxury because we see everybody on TV living this life. Do you know most of those people rent that stuff? They don't own it. And you want to go buy what they have, but you're not bringing in the money that they have. So you can make $8 an hour and thrive. You may not have cable. You may only have a Hulu account. And only the $5.99 because you're gonna watch the commercials because you won't have that extra $6 to put up to not watch the commercials. But that's okay. But no, we can't go get steak when we're in a chicken season. So
Gotta
you
save
know,
with a mission. That makes sense, Teresa. Save with a mission.
Absolutely.
We let money sit and we don't save with the mission. Until you said that, I didn't think about that. Many of us grew up with grandparents who hid money under the mattress. Hiding money under the mattress really is what it is. It's money under the mattress. But what if you'd have put $30,000 in a Roth IRA with an 8% interest, and 10 years later your 30 is 50? Save with a mission. That makes sense.
and you have to. Everything you have to do has to have a target. If you want, and I'm only speaking to the hip hop generation. The hip hop generation I grew up in, I got about 10 years on you guys, so just fine. We weren't into necessarily the brand names as the hip hop generation is now. It's okay. You can get a brand name, save for it. Don't pay full price. There's so many resale stores out here that you can get the same Louis bag that you saw on a video much cheaper. Why would you pay full price when you can get it cheaper, but you got to save for it. Everything has to have a destination. But you shouldn't be buying Louis bags if you don't have 6 to 12 months of savings in your account to pay your household bills if you lost your job tomorrow. You shouldn't buy a Louis bag if you don't have a 401k or a Roth IRA. Let's talk about this. You can't live in a bag.
That's so true.
So start with the basics. Start couponing. If you want to save money on groceries, learn how to coupon. Tish and Crystal both can tell you I was on them when they were in their buying a house season. Save, save, save. It is very important that you start there. Stop spending more than what you have. If you cannot save 10% of your income each and every paycheck, then you need to make adjustments because you have to pay yourself first.
Definitely.
And I'm gonna stop on that one. I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm sorry.
You're speaking
got
big truth,
so
and I
sorry.
love how you started on that because that goes into one of my questions, and I want all of you to chime in on this one. You know, we are all recovering from something, and we're all going to continue to recover. But at what point did all of you decide to take control of your financial future? Sometimes, you know, like he said, some of us got put out at 18 or looked up in at 20, and we were having babies. Life hit us in different ways where we had to figure it out. But at what point did you go from survive to I got to have a financial plan? I got to figure this out and I got to do it. No more excuses. Tish, we're going to jump in on
I
you.
can answer that one, Crystal. Okay, can y'all hear me?
Mhm.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I had a lot of feedback. Crystal, I was 21 years old when I lost somebody very close to me. He was my godfather. And I just remember my mom always taught us, always put money up for a rainy day. Always have a little something is what she used to always tell us. Make sure you have some money saved. You never know what's going to happen. And, you know, with the family in D.C. and Maryland, we used to always have to go home. She used to always tell us, you never know when you're going to have to go up the road. Make sure you got some money saved. Well, the time came and we had to go up the road. And guess who didn't have no money? I didn't. And I think that at that point, that was the game changer for me because I had to depend on my mom to be at a place where my family really needed me. It was sudden, it was tragic, and I didn't even have money to get there. And so ever since then, I knew that it was important for me to start saving. I mean, because life happens. Life is going to happen, and it's happened to me a few times. Death has happened. Um, I've lost my job. I've been laid off. I had to still survive. You know, I couldn't tell my kids, oh, well, y'all can't eat because I don't have money saved. And just like Teresa said, you need that 6 to 12 months, especially in today's economy. You never know what's going to happen. You just don't know.
You know, your story about the job, I always say, I remember one time you and I Tish had a conversation. I remember you told me that you pay your house off in 10 years. And I was like, ain't no way, that's impossible. And we kind of stopped for a moment. But then as life progressed, I realized my statement was crazy, not yours. I realized my thinking was not right because there are dreams and goals and ambitions and things that we should be able to do. Like you said, you should be able to drop up in an emergency and handle business, but it's all based on how you think and what you do and how you prepare for what comes. Um, God knows we've been sisters for years. And over the years, I've learned so much from you about being prepared for any emergency, down to if you know you're going to have a baby, saving your time to cover you when you're out of work, making sure that you got your plan laid out. Too many times we let life catch us and we figure it out when it comes. Trav, when did you decide for your financial freedom? When did you take control?
Well, I just took control. Basically, I didn't want to depend on no one. I didn't want to depend on my father. I didn't want to depend on my mother. I mean, they work hard, so they deserve their own money. Like, I'm a grown man. I'm a man. I need to do what I need to do. So I said, you know what? I've seen a lot of things. I've been told a lot of things. So you know what? I'm going to take control, and I'm going to be that person who I look up to, which is my dad. So it wasn't no specific incident. It was just like almost my entire life just watching. Because in my family, sometimes they look at our success is coming from my dad. No, I work hard. I did this. I did that. And like what Hook spoke earlier, I tell people it's not what you make, it's what you have to do with what you make. I can make less money than you, but if you have to put out 3 times what I put out and you make double my salary, I'm still winning. I have taken pay cuts and have had more where I've had larger salaries. And we talked about that. We both worked at one company, we end up at another company making less money, but we were all thriving. Like like how does that happen? It just happens because you have to be very meticulous and you have to be very strategic with what you do. One thing that I like to do is I have Excel spreadsheets, I have notebooks, I have everything written down. Like Tish said, you have to have a plan, and you need to plan for a back. Your backup needs a backup. My backup account got a backup because I'm never going to be caught slipping. And I think, I don't have any children. I have 6 nieces and nephews and a lot of family members, but I think I owe it to them. Each generation needs to get better and better at this. So what I make, my mistakes that I made, I want to give to them, and the mistakes that they made, they're going to give to the next generation. And I think we should all just continue to progress like that.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
agree. I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Oh, Teresa, I can't wait for your answer because you intrigue my soul, lady.
You're so
When,
sweet.
at the young age of 3, did you determine that you wanted to be financially free? Preach.
Well, here's the deal. So my family, they did okay. They weren't I mean, it's not like we were filthy rich pouring out the billions, but they did okay. I felt shortchanged because I took a different route. Like I didn't follow the route of going to college and finishing because I didn't see the value of paying $50,000 for a piece of paper. So I wanted to go hustle. And that's how I got into mortgaging because it was a hustle. You don't got no clients, you don't got nobody coming in, you don't get a paycheck. And when I started realizing, because you get your first closing, you get 3%. Okay, that 3% looks good, young, but then it goes fast, right? And once it starts going fast, oh, if I don't work, I don't eat, literally. And y'all know I like to eat. That's just not gonna not
We
happen.
all like to eat.
I mean, I'm a foodie, so I mean that like people go buy bags, I go find steak. That's what I do. Stop playing. But I mean, and you have to understand yourself. So I knew that not being safe and secure, I always knew that that wasn't an option. The question was, how was I going to get there? Because when I was married, I leaned on my husband, got divorced, no honey's money. Oh, now I got to be a bad chick. Now I got to get out here and make my worth. And that became for me and my independence as a woman because I don't need to lean on someone to have everything. So that changed everything for me. And then I met y'all and grew y'all up.
And we appreciate it. In
I know.
2012, my grandmother got sick. And if anyone knows me, my grandma's my mama. Like there ain't no Humphrey like my Humphrey I got. And my grandma got sick. And I remember I wanted to have that moment like a Lifetime movie, like grandma's in the bathtub, she's real sick, we don't know how it's gonna go. So I got on my knees and I started crying. And my grandma real old school, like she a real thug. And she was like, get your ass up. And I was like, huh? Like you sick. She said, because if you fall apart, all this falls apart. And I can't have you acting like the rest of them. So get up and get it together and figure it out. That was 8 years ago. She's still here, but it's something about that get up and get it together and figure it out that hit me. If my grandma don't wake up one day, where's my safety net? If my marriage falls apart, where's my safety net? If I have to do this, if there's nobody else I can lean on, where's my safety net? So last year I looked up and I was like, I got to be my own superhero. Like I got to put my own cape on and pick myself up. And it started to think about financial freedom. And then the conversations I had with Tish about paying for a house in 10 years, like Shorter terms are better. Talking to Teresa and hearing save, 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 and you don't need that, and you don't need this, and make sure you have this came together. Or days where I would be, not a personal testimony, where I would be somewhere and Travis would be like, take it and make sure you're good. And just to know that one day somebody will come into my life and I could be like, here, put gas in your car. Here, do this. And I can pay it forward to teach someone else that your blessing, your superhero, your get it together, that comes from within. But you got to want it. And many of us don't realize we got to want it. 2020 humbled us because we went through an economic hardship. Whether you wanted to or not, you lost your job. Whether you wanted to or not, you were home. SC&G went up, grocery bills went up, life changed, jobs got uncertain, and not many of us were ready. We were, I don't know what to do when this happens. So all the words I've heard from all of you over the years all came back like a ton of bricks. Be your own backup, grow up, have a savings, make your kids feel rich, break the generational curses. All that's coming back. So this excited me to bring you guys in because I need that re-up. I need that re-energy, that money credit savings talk all over again.
Well, let's talk about it, Crystal, because when I met you all, it was during the crash back in 2009 and 2010.
Sure was.
I don't want anyone to look at 2020 as it is the worst year financially. This is actually the time that you can come up.
Absolutely.
See, if you have your
Absolutely.
money right, you can be buying investment properties dirt cheap right now. If you have your money right, you can be preparing your financial portfolio for the next recession. We need to get the understanding. You know, when I did go to college and I was taking it serious, I hung out with some pretty rich kids. And you know what they told me? Recession is the best, my dad said. Why did your dad tell you that? Because you get everything for free.
When the stocks are bleeding,
We don't think
are
about
winning.
that, right? Let's talk about this. Right now, you should be educating yourself on how to buy stocks. You should be educating yourself on how to invest into real estate. You younger people, it only takes 2 or 5 of y'all. Get together, put a couple of $1,000, go buy a property, rent it out, sell it, rehab it, do whatever you got to do. Land, you can't replace. Land, you can't replace. Stop letting someone tell you that the land that you grew up in isn't worth anything. Make it worth something.
That's right.
Take back your community. Because this is the time.
It is.
Yeah, definitely. And this was all great commentary, man. I really appreciate that. Audience, I hope you're taking notes. Make sure you like and share as well and react, because even if you have friends who aren't watching, this is some great information. So we want to share this with as many people as possible. And we got a couple questions from the audience. And before we go there, a couple things you guys touched on, I wanted to piggyback on. Teresa, you mentioned, for lack of a better word, old-fashioned saving, where, you know, we just put money under a mattress or in a piggy bank and just hold it back. But if that money is just sitting there, you know, if you put $100 in, you're left with $100. But how do you go about investing that money and making that money make more money? You know what I'm saying? But also, I think the majority of Americans, we're only one minor catastrophe away from being homeless or being in trouble. You know, if your house burned down, I don't know how many people have a spare house that they can just go live in unless they got a family and a support system. But those are some things to really keep in mind. So again, this is all a great conversation. Irisha says, should it be 6 months of bill payments or 6 months of salary? What do you guys think about that question?
Financial advisors have always taught you to have 6 months of all your bills covered. I go a step further, and the girls will tell you, because they when they were preparing for home ownership, I was their financial counselor. I tell you to have 12 months of every bill in your house paid normally, saved. Go another 6 months if you have to cut off everything down to the bare minimum. because that's 18 months that you have that you can stretch if you do it right. That if you lost your job, that you will have that covering for at least 18 months. And reasons why. Unemployment only pays 40%. Unemployment doesn't cover the rent or the mortgage. Emergencies happen. Child falls off the tree, breaks a leg. You probably lost your insurance when you lost your job, so now you have to pay out of pocket for this medical expense. You need to have money sitting in a savings account. And 401ks, those are a great start because you can't easily access it. But you have to have enough discipline, operative word, discipline, to put money in your savings account and let it sit. So if you have to go to another bank outside of Bank of America or whomever you bank with, tell them, I do not want a debit card. I do not want an ATM withdrawal card. I only want to come in if it's an emergency. Then do so. Because as we see, the government is not going to take care of you and your finances ever.
Right.
Take back your own freedom.
Teresa taught us so much that to this very day, when we talk to people, they might think that we're teaching them something, but we're not. It's common sense things that we didn't know, but they're real. If you know you're about to buy a house, make sure that you have something in your savings account that's been sitting there for the last 6 months or 6 statements. So it shows that savings was sitting there. Make sure you pay off the stuff that you have within the last 24 months, but the last 12 to 18 months have been paid up on time. Your FICO score, your credit score, 35% of it is your debt history. Know what makes up that score. Know your debt levels. Know your length of your debt. Know the type of debt. Know all these different things make up to it. What's going to impact you the most or the least. How to understand what your money is doing is going to be your first key of how to get to where you want to be to. If you fall off, it is not that hard. Teresa taught us that. It's not that hard to recover, but it's that discipline. How bad do you want what you're going after? Because when you want it bad enough, you're going to make it happen. We wanted houses. So we sat down and we did what we had to do to get houses. We did what we had to do to get qualified. When we finished with Teresa, anybody would have qualified us. We were perfect candidates for everything because we're the poster children of an approval.
Well, what Teresa said was key, and as she was speaking about going to the bank and getting that account, that's easy, well, hard to assess. And this is when me and Tish kind of gelled this summer over the pandemic. I said, "Well, Tish, you ever heard of American Express?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, they have an online savings account, and you don't have it. There's a bank you can't go to. They don't give you a debit card, and they have 10 to 15 times higher interest rate than any other bank. Bank of America and Wells Fargo, who we praise, are 0.1%. Before the pandemic, American Express was at 2.10%. And now they're still at 0.50%, which is still 10 to 12 times higher as the regular bank. And all you do is link your bank account and then you transfer the money there. And that's something that I'm an advocate of. And when I was taught about that account, I share it with everybody, especially in January. And I like that Tish and I have a support system. We share our deposits. Look, we literally say, look, Tish, I put $300. Tish, I put $200. Our goal is going to be this. Our goal is going to be that. So we constantly, every month, we check in and we're that support system and we encourage each other. We said, hey, what's our goal for this month? What's our goal for next month? It could be when you go out to dinner, instead of buying drinks, don't buy drinks. Take that money and put it in your account. Something simple like that. Or don't eat out for 2 weeks. All that money you save from not eating out, put that in the bank. Every little bit can add up. And I don't think we realize that. But it's key and it works.
It does. You put a lot of us on that situation with them and American Express savings, personal savings.
Savings challenge.
You don't even have to do banking. You can do direct deposit.
Go ahead.
Okay, can y'all hear me?
Yep.
We can hear you now.
I said Travis, Crystal, and I literally sit and have savings challenges. So I would challenge anybody to check your circle. I mean, what type of conversations are you and your friends having? You know, do y'all talk about, the new kicks that came out? You talk about how much money you spent at Christmas time, and now you're broke and can't pay your bills, or do you challenge each other? If you get with a crew that can challenge you to be better financially, you're going to want to compete. I try to keep up with Travis. Travis say, "Oh, well, I put this amount in my IRA," and I'm like, "Well, I didn't get to do that part yet." You know, so it challenges me to be.
Woo, that brother's a beast.
And another thing that I like that Teresa. Yes, he is. Another thing that Teresa said was discipline. I think that discipline is everything. And it's something that she has taught us. When I was buying my home, I hated Teresa. You know why I hated Teresa? Because Teresa would not let me spend money on anything. But I love her to this day because when I got laid off and my husband got laid off, we can afford our mortgage. We still could afford it because it took a lot of discipline to be able to have the amount of mortgage that we wanted. So discipline is everything.
Definitely. And again, thank you guys. I really appreciate that. And we do have another question from the viewers. Josh wants to know, what about the people that can't put that rainy day money aside because their pay doesn't increase as the cost of living increases? What advice do you guys have for Josh?
Teresa, go ahead. I'm gonna go on mute for this one.
Okay, so it goes back to saying, I'm going to give an example, and I'm going to use easy math. If you gross $100 a week, I'm sorry, $1,000 a week, and you probably after taxes, if you're single, you probably bring home around, I'll say $772 if you include insurance. If you're not able to save $100 a week, then we need to talk about what you're spending out. A lot of times, our income doesn't increase, but our expenses do. So if you're paying for cable, internet, phone, my first question is, do you have the basic plan on your cable? Let's look at your budget after your basics. Let's look at your budget and see where we can decrease there. Because a lot of times we have money going outward and we don't have enough money coming in. So I'm as cheap, and Tish will tell you, so will Crystal, and I'm sure those girls, that group has stories about Teresa. But I will tell you to do practical things. How do you lower your utility bills? Nothing in my house is plugged up unless I'm using it. I don't need to pay for energy to go for a space heater that I'm not using. You will be amazed if you unplug everything before you go to bed and when you leave your house in the mornings of how much savings you can do on your utility bills. If you're not in the room, turn the light off. You'll be amazed. It's as simple as putting a towel on your window sills. If you can't afford it, if it's not your house or you can't afford to get it professionally weatherized in the winter, putting a towel to stop the heat from escaping your house, leaving out your windowsill. You will be amazed of how much money you would save on your utility bills. These are simple things. Cook. Tish will tell you, Tish, if you're going to go out to eat with your friends, do what I do. If I'm in a season where I'm not spending, I say, okay, guys, I'll meet you. I'm going to cook at home, have a full-blown meal. By the time I get to the restaurant, I'll have dessert. While they didn't spend $15, $20, I've only spent $5.
Mm-hmm.
Because I understand that you have to reward yourself, but what are you willing to sacrifice? So let's start with your basics, your budget. Look at what you're spending out. Let's curb some of that. I have a friend, she pays for none of her premium TV services, meaning Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, none of that.
Me.
She's on one of my accounts. I'm on her sister's account on Amazon, and I'm on this person's account. Everybody pays $10, but we got $100 worth of service. Right? Let's talk about this.
Right. It's good stuff. It's the truth too.
And then you subscribe to everything. Okay, stop subscribing. If you want something, save for it. Every purchase that's over $200 should be a purchase that you strategize for, just like you're going to strategize for a home. And again, if at the end of the day, you went through your whole budget, and maybe you guys, we need to do a whole budgeting class. Let's start from the beginning, right? I'm down to do it. I'll teach it. I'll help you. We'll get some material out to the people. But when you start at the basics and you still don't have enough, now let's tap into something. We can tap into two things. You can go get another job, do some Postmates and all the other stuff.
Absolutely.
Or we can sit down and start thinking about things that are needed. So you have to understand, inventions come because somebody saw a need for something. Everybody who invented something is the same person as you and I sitting here today. One of my friends, she got tired of her baby losing her hair barrettes. She created Gabby's hair bow.
Right direction.
Yeah. On top of creating Gabby's hair bow, she then turned and made her daughter, Gabby, a business owner.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
See, we
Talk
got to
about it,
stop
Teresa.
thinking about right now, but thinking about the future. There's things that you make. If you got shoes that you can sell, what is it? What is the little website, guys, that you can sell your shoes and all that stuff?
My nephew knows it. They do it all the time.
Exactly. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, ma'am.
You can sell your shoes. You can sell your Let Go. Somebody said it. Let Go. You got other ones. You have all these things that you have access to, but we don't want to do it because we're so busy trying to have stuff. Declutter. When you declutterize your house, I guarantee you, your bank account will declutter.
Tish, that's you talking about declutter. You've been decluttering. You've been fussing about us about declutter all year. Throw it away. You don't need it.
Get rid of it.
Less is more is my model. Crystal, don't always say that. Less is more.
God, yes, that's you. I thought your house was a model house. I didn't even think you lived in it. You so decluttered.
But here's the thing. Because he's decluttered, he don't have space to waste.
No.
That's true.
That's right.
You don't have time to waste. Time is money. Everything that you have costs you. But the question is, what value is it going to bring to you? It starts with your mindset.
You know, you have to clear your mind. You know, declutter, clear your mind, and you can think better, and you'll be able to start saving more. Can we take that last question that just popped up, Cook?
Which one? With this one?
Yes.
No, we did that one.
This one?
Am I behind?
We did that one too, right?
The one that Josh
Yeah.
he asked about how do you put away for a rainy day?
Right.
And that's what we're talking about.
Was going into detail with.
Mm-hmm.
But Teresa, you know what I find too, though, is a lot of people who say that, like, they're not willing to work or do extra. Like Crystal and Tish know I hustle. When there's an opportunity for money, I'm getting it. It doesn't matter what it is, I'm on it. Like throughout this whole pandemic, I had 3 or 4 opportunities along with it. Like this summer, I was working U.S. Census. I did professional development. I worked with Duke University. And especially with this virtual world, like if you really want it, then you have to put in the work. You're not going to be able to just sit back and relax. It's not going to fall in your hands, because that's the running joke. They was like, Travis, what opportunity are you doing this week? Like I even found opportunity during election season to make calls to Democrats. I got paid for that. And that's something that I was helping out. But then again, I was getting paid for it. And I know I was going to be closing on my house. So I'm like, hey, I'm going to do this. That's going to buy the TV for my man cave, you know? So we got to learn. You have to want to work, and it's not going to fall in your lap. A lot of us want things, but we're not willing to put in the work and the time. It's okay to sacrifice some extra time, but what are you going to do with that?
It's also something that Teresa's been a massive influence amongst our circle. But one thing I can say that I learned from, and I credit Teresa, Tish, and you, and a few others for this one. I'm never afraid to fail, and I'm never afraid to fall because there's nothing I can't get back. Now I won't jump quickly because I have to see how whatever way I come down, what can I do to get from it. But I'm never afraid to. I messed up. I shouldn't have got this. There's nothing I can't come back from because I understand. I know how money works. Once you learn it, you can always bounce back, but you got to move smart. You got to move strategic. You got to learn and pay attention to what you're doing. How do I cut the cable down and get a streaming service only? How do I shut this down and do that instead? How do I make all this stuff work for me? So even when I'm at my worst, just give me a little while because I'm gonna bounce back because I know how to. The know-how is the biggest. Many people don't know how, so they fear falling and they put the money under the mattress. Or like, Tish used to tell me all the time, why are you so worried about taking leave? Why are you so worried about you didn't prepare for it? You didn't pregnancy happens, but you got 9 months to prepare for it. I saved my leave time the entire time when I had my surgery, which took me out like I was having a baby. But when the short-term disability people were saying, well, after your leave runs out, we're going to pay you 30%. I didn't worry about it because I had enough leave saved up that covered that entire time. So my whole time was paid at 100%. But I prepared for those moments. Prep yourself for those moments. I may want 12 weeks with that newborn baby I have, but I got 9 months to get ready for those 12 weeks. Prepare for those moments. That's not the time to go to Hawaii and enjoy your homegirls because you want to be lit one last time for that baby get here. That's the time that you sit your big butt at home, eat that cooked food like Teresa said, and use the
Right.
12 weeks to sit home with your kid. But it's preparation. And many times we don't think about that like we should.
Well, I'm
Because
gonna take you a step up, Crystal, because at this point,
So
in the
let's
way I look at you,
so
when I look at you and Tish, and I look at the whole crew, at this point, just like Travis said, you should have multi streams of income.
We should.
We need to think about this.
mhm.
You need at least four, at least four, at least four revenue streams coming into your household.
Oh, I'm doing that this year. Bet that. I'm
At
harassed.
least, right? Because here's the deal. If your money is working for you, preparation is easier for you, which relieves your stress, where you can do other things peacefully. See, nothing bothers us until our money's funny. If our
Ooh,
money's funny, the whole world is coming to an end. But when our money is operating for us and working for us, and we have flow, everything that we need to do for ourselves, whether it's going to Hawaii, whether it's going to get a massage, whether it's spending time with my baby today, and I can take the day off and not have to save my vacation time because whether I make this dollar or not, I'm still good. That's
big.
where we need to get to.
We do. Your
So when I
asset.
think about you and Tish, and I think about the crew, that was 10 years ago.
Right.
I expect y'all to be elevated because, again, we can't stay in the same place expecting different changes.
That's true.
that's absolutely true.
My
And we
aunt
can't expect
always taught me
AT&T to
that
pay our bills.
depending on people and keeping stuff and making sure that whatever anybody else gives you is extra. I don't care if it's child support. I don't care if it's alimony. I don't care if it's the stimulus. Whatever comes from others is extra. You got to make sure that what you're doing, your asset list, your multiple streams of income, your job, that what you are living off of is what you have. And that's why, Trav, this last year and this year, I've been talking to you and Tish about a lot. I got to get more streams of income. Stuff need to be coming in when I'm asleep. I'm not hustling hard enough. And it's like, well, you're always busy. I'm not busy enough because if I am still scared if this job don't call me tomorrow, I'm not doing right. I got things to do. So my next 5-year plan, it's a catch-up hustle because I'm not where I'm supposed to be right now. Like she said, we should have multiple. Tish and I talk about this all the time. Rehab a house, get a rental, Airbnb, something. It don't have to be all these big things. Go out there and get a real estate license. I became a notary. $25. I sent money to the state of South Carolina. They was like, hey, you straight? I get a thing. I stamp people's stuff. I make $25 and $30 randomly just because I'm notarizing documents on the weekends. I'm coming to you. You all, and they like, you're always doing something. I am, because one day I don't want to live off this 401k retirement savings that this job told me to build. My asset list should be my retirement. My money should be made from this. I want to buy my next car from my asset, not my finance. I gotta get in a different mindset, but that came from Teresa cussing us out all the time. And my aunt, because y'all know Aunt Brenda. You know.
Right. And again, guys, this has been some phenomenal information. And Anthony's question, and I want to close with Anthony's question because I know I told y'all, I promised y'all I wouldn't have y'all here all night. So Anthony is asking, he's always interested in advancing and growing. So he wants to know what are some good resources to invest in to increase his knowledge concerning this topic.
So I have a young lady that I'm very fond of. Her name is Tila Holcomb, and I believe the spelling is TELAHOLCOMB. She is a young woman who was working, and I believe she was working in maybe a stock trading office. But she wasn't getting the knowledge that she needed to learn to become a trader, stock trader. So she started teaching herself. And when they realized she taught herself and they realized that she was making more than them, they fired her. And so her husband said, you're not going to get paid what you're getting paid by doing what you do. Stay at home and do it. And she has a course where she teaches you how to do this. Now, if you know me, y'all know I do not give out any type of websites. I don't promote anyone unless I'm getting a kickback for my time. I'm not getting a kickback from this. So this is a gift to you, and that's how precious it is to me. She has broken up the payment plans. She charges, I think, about $1,700 for the course, but she has broken up she has a payment plan where you can start and you can, I think, pay monthly or quarterly. I'm not sure how that works. About $400 a month if you can't do the whole thing at once. She has group settings where people get together and they talk about the stocks that they're buying, and they talk about when they're selling and when they're buying. And it's an amazing community. It's a community that people that look like me and you haven't really tapped into. Again, her name is Tila Holcomb. And Hook and y'all, I'll put this in our chat later and you guys can publish it later for your audience. But I would start there. Start learning about money. I don't like watching money network shows. I don't care for the crazy stockbrokers that are yelling and screaming at you. But I humble myself and I listen because they're telling you something that we don't want to hear. Listen there. Start there. The Money Watch TV. I'm mad kicking myself now that I don't have $1,000 in Bitcoins. And me and Tish was talking about this yesterday. Bitcoin, right?
From 6,000 to 32,000 in a year.
In a year.
Ooh, if you were connected to me, we talked about this.
And no, most of us didn't take it.
Ooh, we didn't listen. So, we were like, it's a scam.
We have to get into the mindset of listening to people with knowledge that doesn't look like us. Because they created the system.
Mm-hmm.
And it's when we listen to them We learn from them, and then we use what we learned. We won't become equal until we take what they taught and apply it and make it applicable in every area of our lives.
Absolutely.
But you have to have, and I'm going back to that famous word, discipline.
Discipline.
Yeah. Travis, Tish, what about you guys? What resources can you guys share?
Well, one of the resources, and Crystal, if you want to hold up the book, the author David Bach, The Automatic Millionaire, it's it's an easy read. It tells you how to automate your finances and how you can just go from a regular everyday person to just set up certain systems to go ahead and make it easier. It's basically starting like a direct deposit or adding in automatic transfers. So it's an easy read. It's a very inexpensive book. You can get it on Amazon, Walmart.com, anywhere. I think that's a good way to start. Again, it's like an easy read, and I think that's going to really set you up for success. If you can't afford the book, go to YouTube, put in David Bach, The Automatic Millionaire. You can get the Audible book. He also has small little clips of videos and tell you what to do. So if you can't afford the book, just go on YouTube, search his name. You'll get a lot of valuable information from him.
We spend a lot of time on the internet anyway. We search what the stimulus gonna drop. We search who do what how. We search how to get it, how to do it well. We Google everything under the sun. So my phone screen time is ridiculous. But if you're gonna use that time, use it wisely. Like every time life throws me a curveball, I just call Teresa and harass her until she tells me to get it together and I figure it out. Then I call my aunt and she finishes the other way and I figure it out. But use your time wisely. Have a healthy support system and a healthy circle. Go to people who you're gonna make you listen. But like Teresa said, stop listening to people who, I mean, not saying that your friends that are where you are bad, but start listening to people who don't look like you, because clearly we sit in the same circle, all y'all doing the same thing. You're going to tell yourself, well, I'm not that bad, we're okay, but you could be doing so much better if you elevated yourself, if you stop with that comfort level, if you quit being complacent. And that's one of our guilty is me. It was time to stop convincing myself that I was okay.
Absolutely.
And
Tish,
it's never too late to start over.
there you go. Yeah, absolutely. Tish, what about you?
I would say check yourself. What are you reading? You know, I always have a book nearby, and this book is called What to Do When Your Money is Funny. Knowledge, building your knowledge. Like Crystal said, you know, the people that you're talking to, use them as a resource. There's so much on the internet right now. There's so much on YouTube. If you take the time to just invest in yourself, and honestly, another book that I'm reading, and this really has nothing to do with finances, but it's called Boundaries. You have to create boundaries in your life, you know, so that you can get centered and grounded and focused on your finances. So I would say check your reading. Take the time to use the internet. You know, it's 2021. Everything's on YouTube. I'm sick, like they said about Bitcoin, but just take the time to research stocks, learn it, and start investing.
Absolutely. And again, this has been great information, guys. As you can see with the ticker at the bottom, Get Hooked Money Making Mondays. We're dedicating the first Monday of every month to talking about finances, budgeting, home ownership, the whole nine. So be on the lookout for future episodes. Tish, Teresa, Trav, I appreciate you guys for taking your time out. This has been great information, and do not be surprised.
Before you shut down, Teresa, my phone is buzzing like like a popping to the DMs right now. Everybody wants to know how to get in touch with you. How do I get to talk to Teresa? You know, she 14 classified, a little secret we done kept for the last 10 years. But Teresa, how can they get a hold of you? Because I told you when you told me absolutely, I was like, yes.
So I don't know how to answer that. Okay, well, you know what? Here's the deal. I will help anyone. So I'm gonna put it out there publicly.
You'll be back for a budget class.
I do not remember my Google number, so I have to give you my real phone number. But you guys can call me. We can Schedule maybe, and maybe something that you guys would be interested in. We can kind of schedule like a Zoom, basic 101 budgeting, something in that area. But if someone needs to wants to reach me, kind of figure out where they want to go, my telephone number is
Oh, Jesus.
980 287 1425.
Dang, I can hear y'all phones being.
Again, 980 287 1425. But I will ask for respect. Do not text me after 10 o'clock at night.
Tell them your normal business hours, Red.
Well, it depends. So texting is best because I can call you back. But just be respectful, nothing before 7 and nothing after 10.
So your office hours are what again?
7 and 9. Don't call after 10. Those are hours.
What movie was that from? That was Red who said it too.
Yeah. And guys, don't be surprised if we reach out to you for future episodes as well, because again, you guys have given me a lot of valuable information from me personally. So I really appreciate you taking the time out to educate the people, man. I really do.
And we are definitely going to set up a page that's going to have resources from this podcast. We're definitely bringing Teresa back and the other panelists back for a budget class with budget sheets, with budget information, with budget instructions. These are things that are going to happen. Money Making Mondays is a 2021 first Monday of the month habit. So the black dollar, our dollar is a powerful dollar, and we need to learn how to make it work for us, not keep working for it. So please get used to these faces, get used to that voice, get used to seeing and hearing what you are. We're going to be richer by the end of the year, y'all.
Absolutely.
But we are definitely going to have a budget course, like Teresa said, and have that one-on-one because we need it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If you missed any of the podcasts, it's going to be available on YouTube. It's going to be available across all podcast platforms and on Facebook, obviously. So also, again, make sure you react, make sure you share as well. Because if you have friends or family who, if this is a topic that interests them, we want to share the information. Each one reach one, right? All right.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Right, exactly. And again, Travis, Tish, Teresa, I really appreciate that. Chris, as always, my dog, thank you. And,
thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
We'll be talking to you all soon. Thank
So
you.
look, and Travis, I need y'all to text me so I have your information.
Yes,
Ooh, y'all don't know what that means.
Tish, shut her up. It's not bad.
Hey, Tish, I got you as soon as we log out.
All right, good deal.
I'm texting you right now.
Get in the chat and send it to her right now. When I tell you that's a good thing, you become one of her babies. You want this. So I love you all. I so appreciate you all putting up with my shenanigans. Teresa, we're going to aggravate you and we out of your business hour. So get ready for it.
I love it.
I can't wait. I'm excited. I love getting rich with y'all. Go ahead.
Right?
All right, guys.
Y'all have a good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Everybody, good night.
All right.